Hey everyone, so today I wanted to do a very quick video on how I cover my breakouts when they occur. I will say that I'm extremely lucky in the sense that I don't have breakouts very often. However, when I do break out, it's bad. So currently I am going through one of my more terrible breakouts. So I decided I love you guys so much that I want to show you how I cover my breakouts and my blemishes while they're occurring. So I'm letting you see my face in all of its disgusting glory today. So as you can see, there are quite a few blemishes occurring, and I have a really bad habit of picking at them, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I do it. Now they're actually scabs at this point, so they're even more disgusting to deal with. Now, typically when I'm going through a breakout, I don't like to wear makeup at all. I like to keep my face completely makeup free. I wash it with my cleansers. I put on a little bit of moisturizer, but I like to keep it very light, and I like to keep my skin very bare so it can heal properly and the blemishes will go away. However, there's always going to be occasions where the need for makeup and just looking kind of nice will arise during a breakout, whether it's having meetings at work or whether it's going out with friends for an event or an occasion. I don't really have anything too specific going on today. However, I am filming like 7 videos for my YouTube channels today, since I have 4 of them technically. So I figured I should probably have a little bit of something on my face, that way I don't have like a week's worth of videos that have blemishes everywhere. So let's get started. So I avoid primers when I have breakouts. It's just my personal preference. If you choose not to, that's totally fine too. But to get started, before we even apply foundation, this is the Natural Collection Cover Up Cream Concealer. It's for specific spots. I actually got this from a swap that I did with a friend. I love it. It's one of my most favorite products. However, they do not sell it here in the States. I put the cream on the spots. I kind of let it sit for just a moment, and using my finger, I know it's like gross, but I make sure I wash my hands. I'm gonna kind of just tap everything in. Now, I used to wear this as my concealer all the time until I realized that it kind of creates a greasy effect, which is why I don't use this as my only concealer anymore. I use it for spot concealing before applying foundation. So at this point, I apply my foundation like I normally would for the day. I'm using my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea water foundation. It's like my most favorite thing ever. This is actually the 2nd bottle now. Oh, you guys didn't even tell me that I forgot to rub that in up there. So foundation is on my face. Yes, now we're gonna move on. There are so many things. The problem is that because I picked at them and it's now a scab, it becomes harder to cover. So now we're gonna use the Boing Industrial Strength Concealer, and I'm just gonna put this on the spots that are much more prominent. So like these ones over here, they're already covered for the most part. I have a couple more steps, but these, especially these 3 and even this one right here, are really noticeable. Okay, so now I'm using, this is actually a sample size from IT Cosmetics, but it's Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Concealer. It's specifically supposed to go under your eyes. I'm gonna use it in this circumstance on these spots. So the one thing that I always check is that my skin tone is pretty much even and matching. I know sometimes when covering blemishes like this, it can get really cakey, and it can be like noticeable that you're covering something. So I try to keep it as non-noticeable as possible. At least in the mirror where I'm looking, it's not noticeable. I can still see that there's raised skin, however the discoloration and redness is gone. I almost can't even see these 2 over here, and this one I can barely see at all. It's just this one, which is like the big guy. I don't know how it looks on camera for you guys, but my skin looks pretty even in color. So now at this point, I'm gonna add my last layer of concealer, and then I will show you how I powder to set everything. So this is the Rainforest of the Sea concealer. I specifically use this under my eyes because I really like the way it looks, and I am gonna dab little dots on the guys that we've already done. I always put a little bit on my forehead, just because I tend to get really red there. So there are 2 ways that you can conceal with the Rainforest of the Sea. They make this concealer sponge. They also make this concealer blending brush. So this is great for coverage under your eyes especially. I know I've used this in a video before with you guys. but I love it because you just kind of pat it on, and I always blend upwards. I love the coverage that this gives me under my eyes and on my forehead, so I'm going to use that. However, I'm going to use this blending, this is also by Tarte, and it is a concealer brush, and I'm going to use this Tarte concealer brush to blend the spots down here. If you have more of like a very small spot, this is great for like fine blending, but I'm going to use this fluffier side just because I want it to look as natural as possible, especially for the bigger ones. So I'm going to use that here. So we finished concealing, so now I have to set everything. And I use 2 different powders for setting. This is the NYX Hydra Touch foundation. It's a powder foundation. I use this specifically to cover areas that I've concealed. And I'll just use the excess around the rest of my face. Okay, so then I also use this IT Cosmetics translucent powder. This powder is great because it's specifically designed to erase your pores. So I pour a little bit in the cap, and I use a very fluffy, soft brush. And I put this right on the inside of my cheeks. My pores are especially large here, which is why I think this is where my breakout zone is more so. But this is basically my concealing process. When I have breakouts, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see my face. Hello. So here's the thing with my face. It looks even. You can still see that there are some spots. You can still see that there are spots here under the foundation and the concealer. However, like I said, these are actual scabs because I pick at my face, so you should never pick at your face. Here's the thing, with makeup, you're never gonna cover anything 110% unless you are like a makeup god. But for someone like me who just does my makeup day to day, this is a much better look. It really reduced the appearance of the scabs and the blemishes, so I would feel comfortable leaving my house looking like this right now. And like you can see from the camera right now far away, it's almost impossible to see them, so unless you're like right up in my face, it's really hard to notice them. But these are just the products that I use to kind of hide the blemishes when I have breakouts. I will leave links to the products down below in the description if you're interested in checking any of those out. But at this point, I'm gonna finish my makeup for the day and film a ton of more videos. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and leave comments and like the video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye everybody.